What's going on, guys? It's Caleb here and welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see from the title, this title is about how gratitude has cured my social anxiety. Now, I wanted to talk about social anxiety because this is a topic that is very dear to my heart because I went through it a lot through my teens and even my early 20s. Even to this day, it still pops up in certain situations. And I feel as if over the years, the word depression, the word mental illness has really got a bad rep. There's a lot of people that connotate anxiety with you being inferior, that you're less of a person than somebody else. You're away from the crowd, right? They start to label you as somebody that's different. And I want to get rid of all those connotations because I feel as if this is a topic that we should be talking about more in school, just mental illness, mental health in general. I feel as if it's lacking in our schools, in our communities, and within our friend groups, in our relationships. It's a topic that a lot of people are scared to talk about. And in this channel, I want to make sure that this is a welcome space for people to talk about it, for people to provide solutions, for people to provide tips and things that have helped them along their journey of going through this. Before I go into this video and how gratitude really changed my outlook on social anxiety, on mental health in general, and how it has developed a more positive lifestyle for me and myself, I want to go into my backstory, and I'll keep it real short and simple for you guys, just to give you guys some backstory on my history with social anxiety and mental health. Social anxiety started for me in ninth grade. It was in middle school as I was transitioning to high school. I feel as if a lot of people can relate to this. I hear from a lot of friends and from people that I see on the internet that they went through a hard time in high school because this is a time that a lot of teens are trying to impress other people. They're trying to fit into groups. They're trying to fit into a standard that their immediate circle or the people at their school have for just being a cool teen or to be accepted or to be seen a certain way or to be attractive to girls. And I know that was a big thing for me. And so all of my life in high school, I was always trying to fit into the group that I was surrounded by. This meant whether it be smoking, whether it be drinking, whether it be adopting certain beliefs, whether it be acting a certain way, whether it be engaging in certain behaviors. I did everything in my ability to be able to be accepted from other people. And when I look back at my life, I start to realize that I developed a lot of bad habits, and I developed a lot of negative beliefs about myself and the world in those years. And this is how my anxiety started to build up because I thought that because I was in a certain way that I wasn't good enough. And I started to develop a low self-esteem about myself. I started to really develop a lot of negative connotations and beliefs about myself. And that's how my anxiety grew from there. I started to feel anxious in certain situations. I remember in classrooms, I would start to get my palms sweaty. I'd start to, my heart would start beating faster and faster. And I had a very hard time being able to connect with other people and just be able to cultivate healthy relationships within my high school. And this is when I really started to dive into what was happening, why I was feeling these emotions. And I would search on the internet, and at the time, they never talked about this in school. I mean, they would talk about mental health because of suicides happening, and I had a dear friend of mine commit suicide, and that's when I started to really see mental health as something that's very important and something that we don't talk about enough, and there's no education behind it. And so I went and did my research. I did everything that I could to find a solution, to find why I was feeling this sort of way. My parents didn't help, my brothers didn't help, And I don't blame them. I mean, this is something that is so new in this generation with how we're growing up with social media, how they're just different with the music culture and a lot of the things that are happening around us in society. I feel as if mental health is or mental illness is at an all-time high because of this. And that's just one of the factors. So I went into a self-discovery process where I started to really look into why I felt these emotions, why I was developing a low self-esteem. And this was affecting every other area in my life. It wasn't just relationships. I was doing worse at work. I was at that time I was getting into business, and I wasn't able to do certain things that was demanded of me in order to make a certain amount of money, in order to push my business forward. And even with personal development, that's when I got into that because I wanted to find a way out. And throughout my journey, I found gratitude, and I found a lot of other things that has been very beneficial for me, and that's something I want to share in this channel with you guys in upcoming videos. But today I just want to really stick with gratitude and how that has helped me from where I started with social anxiety in high school and even later stages in middle school and to where I am now. So with gratitude and the way that it helped me is a lot of the times when I did my research online, the solutions that they were providing on the internet and other reliable sources was to think positive thoughts and it'd be things like get out of your head, or they would say a lot of things that were easy to say, but for people that actually go through anxiety, it's a lot harder said than done. And I found a lot of these things that I found online very unuseful. I felt as if they didn't understand what I was going through. And then I found my mentor, I found my coach, and he introduced me to this practice of gratitude. I'm gonna break the gratitude exercise in 2 questions that I want you to ask yourself, and then an exercise that you can do in the morning or at night to reinforce this exercise. And so the first question is, I want you to ask yourself, as you're going throughout your day, ask yourself, what are you most grateful for? What are you most grateful for? Whether it be today, whether it be in the past year, whether it be in your entire life, right? What is that thing? Who is that person? What is that situation that you are most grateful for? And I want you to really think about this. I don't want you guys to force it. I don't want you guys to just force a thought or force a person or a situation in which you might think you're grateful for. I want you to really look back in your life or even today and really think about what could you be most grateful for. And if you're having a hard time doing that, I want you to think about what has made your life today or your life in the past. All right, sorry about that, guys. So I ended up recording the whole video just to realize that it got cut short early. So we're gonna change the angle just so that I know that it's recording this time. And we'll get right back into what I was talking about with this gratitude exercise. And so where I left off was, I want you to think about what you're most grateful for, right? And after you think about that, and if you're having a hard time thinking about it, of what you're most grateful for, and maybe you can't think of something that you're most grateful for right now, I want you to think about, let's take it down a notch. I want you to think about what has made your life easier today. What has made your life easier last week? What has made your life easier last month, or maybe in the past year, or maybe in your entire lifetime? What has made your life easier? That could be a person, that could be a thing, that could be a situation, that could be anything that you can think of that has made your life easier or that you're most grateful for. And I want you to really think about that. And this is not something that you have to force. This is not something that you have to think about. What are you most grateful for? But I want you to genuinely and honestly just think about it. Like, who are you most grateful for? What are you most grateful for? What has made your life easier? What can you thank Things as in a car, for you not having to walk all over the place, or a subway or public transport. It could be anything. Something that you can associate that has made your life easier or that you are most grateful for. And just truthfully and honestly, just take a couple of minutes just to think about that. Now, the second question that I want you to ask yourself after you've thought of that person, that thing, that situation, whatever it might be, I want you to ask yourself, how does that make you feel? How does that thing make you feel? And what this is doing is when you ask yourself these questions throughout the day, or maybe in the start of the morning or at night after a long day, you start to feel the emotion of gratitude. And this is something that you will cultivate. This is most likely something that you're not going to be able to get right away or be able to feel right away, or maybe you can, and that's great if you can. But as for me, it was a process that I had to build. And so you start to ask yourself, what are you most grateful for? And then you follow up with that question and you ask yourself, how does that make you feel? I know for me, when I was starting off, what I was most grateful for was my parents, my brothers, my family, what they'd done for me, how they came from Korea, how my parents came from Korea, came to America for me to have a future, for me to live a better life. And I thought about that, and I really took gratitude for that. And then I started to feel the emotion, like, how does that make me feel? It makes me feel a tremendous amount of gratitude. Like, when I think about it, I just want to go over there and thank them again and again. And so this is something I've cultivated. And this could be something like you walking around on a sunny day and thanking and being grateful for the weather that you have. The fact that you're able to be outside healthy and be able to enjoy it and start to feel that. And why this is so important, why this exercise is so profound, is especially when you have anxiety, when you have social anxiety, a lot of the times you're thinking of what other people are thinking about you, or negative things that could happen, or the worst possible scenario, and you're putting a lot of negative thoughts through your head. And how our mind works is it starts with a belief. We all have beliefs about ourselves. We all have beliefs about other people, about the world, about politics, all of that. And how it goes is your mind has a belief. And from a belief comes the thought, or multiple thoughts, or a story. And those thoughts cultivate an emotion. And so if you have anxiety, let's say you have social anxiety, right? You most likely have a belief about yourself, about how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to act, whatever that might be for you. You have a belief. And so you start to have all these thoughts. Maybe it pops up in social situations, or maybe with a certain person, or maybe at a certain location for you. And you start to have all these thoughts about what other people are thinking about you, this and that. And that creates the emotion of fear. And that creates the emotion of anxiety and panic. And so what this gratitude exercise is doing, and why it's so profound, is when you start to just think about what you're most grateful for and the things that you're most grateful for, and you start to feel those emotions because you're having those thoughts. Remember, those thoughts create emotions. And when you start to genuinely think about what you're most grateful for, and you start to have that outlook on life, you start to feel more grateful. You start to have a different outlook on certain things in different situations. You start to have a certain outlook on these social situations, these situations that were making you so anxious. You start to have a different outlook. You start to see it in a different perspective. And the reason why I love to do this gratitude exercise throughout the day, and especially in the mornings, is that it provides an emotional space around me and within my body, that even if these anxious moments pop up, even if social anxiety pops up for me, if I have done gratitude, if I can practice that exercise, it helps me see social anxiety in a different way. I start to feel more calm. I start to feel more grateful. I start to feel more happy. I'm not so much in my head anymore. And it starts to have a different outlook on certain situations. And I'll leave you guys off with this. This is an exercise that has profoundly impacted my life. And I really, truly believe that it can provide a lot of value for you guys. I'm sure you've heard of it too. It's called a gratitude journal. And what that is going to contain is every day at the start of the day, or maybe whenever you have time throughout the day, maybe at night after a long day, I want you to pull out this journal or a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 3 things that you are grateful for, or 3 things that has helped you the most. And start to write these things every single day. I know when I first started this exercise, it was very hard for me to think of anything that I was grateful for, but I could start off at what has helped me, what has made my life easier today, or in the last week, or in my entire life. You can at least start there. And every day, as you write these things, you'll start to train your mind, you'll start to train your perspective on life. And you'll start to see the positive, you'll start to see the things that you could be grateful for. And that's gonna change the neural pathways in your head and start to really, really change the emotional well-being of yourself. And isn't that what mental health is? Mental health is all about making sure that your hygiene, right, your mental hygiene is positive, that it's clean, that's cleansed. And so writing these things down, 3 things every single day, it might not seem like much, but trust me, it's cultivating a different practice, a different outlook, a different emotional feeling in your life. And that's going to play out in every other area in your life. And so I want you to, throughout the day, ask yourself what you're most grateful for, whether it be you commuting to work, or maybe you're at work, maybe you're going through a stressful moment, or right before you start to feel a bit anxious before a situation or before a social setting. I want you to ask yourself, what are you most grateful for? And how does that make you feel? And if you can't think about what you're most grateful for, keep asking yourself that question. And eventually you'll start to cultivate a better practice, a better emotional response to it. And if you still have a hard time, like I said, just think about what has made your life easier, or what has helped your life more throughout the past day or in the past week. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below if this helps you guys out. This is a practice that you should be developing, cultivating every single day. And as you realize that the more times you do it, the more gratitude you'll start to feel throughout the day, the different outlooks that you'll have about yourself, about other people, about the world. And it will dramatically change the way that you feel. And so I hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions or you have different ideas for other videos, please comment down below. I would love to share more things that I have found has helped me tremendously. And just really, like I said in the beginning of the video, provide a space for people to talk about this topic more, and really provide solutions that actually work, right? Not things that can be a short-term solution or a band-aid, but actually get into the root cause of how we can fix this and how we can provide a healthier and just a more aware mental realm. And so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, comment down below or shoot me a message if you guys have any questions. And until next time, guys, peace.